DESIblitz.com.
It'd be good to meet someone different, Mum. Instead of these local, narrow-minded girls with their riff-raff frame of mind.
I'm Fatimah Miah, and simple things satisfy my complicated heart.
Oh, you look like you've done every celebrity diet on the planet.
I feel like an advert giving hope to overweight men on Weight Watchers.
Or on crack.
I mean, being Muslim myself, I kind of know that world, which was what was so fantastic about getting to play this role, because I felt safe and I felt comfortable, and I kind of knew where this character was going and coming just without even reading anything up on her. I think the challenges I've probably found was wearing the hijab was, I didn't want to come across like a phony in any way. I didn't want to come across as though an actress is wearing a hijab. I wanted to make sure that I wore it and sat in it comfortably, and so that was really important to me, and for that reason I was reluctant to wear it at the beginning, because I wanted to ensure that there was, I didn't disrespect it in any way, but it was really, really helpful. I got comfortable very quickly with it, and it actually helped a lot with being a doctor, because it kind of helped transform like my posture and stuff. So that was really good, because I'm quite a sloucher, so suddenly when I'm wearing the hijab I'm all like this, which is really good for being a doctor. So yeah, it was really helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
and despite the physical appearance, the hijab and everything, Fatimah is an independent working woman, as you mentioned. How similar are Asmara and Fatimah in real life?
Oh, I think very similar actually, scarily similar sometimes. I'm definitely just like her on those terms, a strong, independent, a liberal Muslim, good human values, things that we can probably all relate to. She's very determined and resilient, which is why, that's the career choice that she's gone down. And same as being an actress, you have to be resilient, you have to be determined in order to be an actress. There's no like wiggle room in any way. So yeah, very focused in that way. And I think with regards to our flaws, I think I could definitely relate to her on the anger side, just with, I know hers the extreme comedy anger management therapy room, but mine on the side of, we can all feel infuriated at times, and, just using that fury sometimes and trying to feel what she's feeling in that moment, I could definitely relate to.
Okay, and as you mentioned, you're a liberal Muslim. However, the character is shown wearing a hijab. While a woman wearing a hijab can be liberal as well, but it's conceived as a very conservative notion. So did you have any sort of reservations around that? Yeah, I mean, the director wanted to really set out this film staying within the parameters of what British Muslim TV wanted him to do, which was, appeal to a wide Muslim audience ranging from liberal to conservative, and also focusing on the non-physical part of the relationship and online dating. Within that, he wanted to also appeal to a wide British audience, and I think he did that really, really well. And I had that same concern. I wanted to ensure it was appealing to a wide British audience and didn't kind of isolate anybody. And so I felt if there was a character that wore a hijab, could it potentially do that? As it turns out, it didn't. It actually it brought a lot to the character, and it brought a lot to her character and to the film as well, because it challenges those kind of misconceptions and perceptions of Muslims immediately, and and you're immediately into this world, and you're like, okay, it's not what I see in the headlines actually. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was really fantastic to have that. Okay, and the film offers a very fresh perspective of British Asian life. Do you feel that Muslim women in a hijab represent today's community as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to pinpoint every Muslim woman in just one character, but I think the director / writer Oz Arshad has done very, very well in writing a female character that tries to kind of pinpoint what it's like being a Muslim female in Britain, with all the kind of constraints and pressures from your family and traditions and stuff. Outside of that, I think everybody has their own personalities and everybody has their own viewpoints on things. But I think he's done well in kind of making a character very liberal and yet modern, which is quite a hard task to do. And making sure he doesn't really put the character's viewpoints on what everybody else thinks. Like, this is a representation of a Muslim female in Britain, but it's not necessarily everybody's voice, but it's definitely a good voice, and it's definitely one we want out there.
Okay. And did you feel while reading the script that the film would expose cultural taboos in the British Asian society?
I mean, I suppose the only things that could be seen as taboos are things like the divorce, that divorce label. And I think that was something he wanted to target because of that reason. I think it was kind of to shine a light on the fact that more so, you know, this is a taboo, but actually let's move on, you know, like let's be progressive in this kind of outdated way of thinking, and let's realize that actually let's focus on the internal, not the external. If we stop thinking about the judgment of others, and actually we realize that actually the judgment of others is our judgment of ourselves, we begin to accept ourselves, and we start loving ourselves. And as soon as we love ourselves is the moment that actually the world opens up to us, and I think that's what we've kind of targeted quite well.
Okay, so but do you believe, you know, so then the popular stigma is around women?
Yeah.
A divorced woman is probably more the main focus usually, and not a man. But do you feel it's equally frustrating and equally a taboo for a man as well, being divorced?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're, I see everyone as equal. We're all human beings, you know. I think sometimes men can, the experience of a man or a Muslim man, a divorcee in that sense, can kind of be shoved under the carpet in that sense, like, you know, it's okay. It's not okay. I mean, like I say, there's so much focus on what others think of you that you begin to forget what you think of you. And I think that's what we can all relate to, whether it's male or female. I think just being divorced, I think first and foremost ask yourself how you feel about it, and then you might realize that actually people don't think how you're thinking. You're actually putting those perceptions onto others, and they're not what you're thinking. And that's exactly what happens with Shahid. He believes that, you know, Fatima's not going to accept me, or these girls on the online sites are just not going to accept me because I'm divorced. But actually, as it turns out, Fatimah doesn't care. She doesn't care about that, because she cares about the internal. She cares that he's sincere and genuine, and those are the only things that matter to her. And he finds someone that's right for him through that.
Okay, and do you feel there is still sort of an underrepresentation of British Asians in British TV and cinema?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of my frustrations as an actress and as a Muslim. I think there's not enough Asians, Muslims, Pakistanis. I feel like there's not enough represented in the media. I think the media have a powerful hold on society, and I think it's really important that, because of the emphasis on all the negative headlines, that we kind of, you know, take the reins on the narratives, and either, you know, on larger scales, you know, if you're able to do things like this, or try and move towards doing things like this, or on a smaller scale, you know, have your voice heard on social media, whatever public platforms there are out there, in order to tell those narratives, you know, get things out on YouTube, create those things. You know, there's a lot of, you know, YouTubers, you know, that are really popular right now that are Muslim and, you know, Asians, and it's got nothing to do with them being stereotypes of their field or whatever it is. They are who they are, and that's why they have that following. And YouTube is really beautiful in showing that, look, these are my followers, and this is how popular I am. It's got nothing to do with me playing up to a stereotype, and that's exactly what this film does.
You don't strike me as someone who's driven by pride and ego. You're smart, intelligent, and above all, honest.
Did you know that I'm div?
Did I know that you're what, a div?
Yeah, I figured.
You don't know that you've been married? Where's your trust? Where's the love?
I like him, but I feel like you need to drop him because your dad.
My dad, who's trying to match me with some wet drip wannabe MP.
Fatimah, this is Jahid Khan.